The signal had no origin. That was the first problem. Dr. Elias Varon had spent most of his career chasing anomalies, tiny, flickering irregularities in the vast ocean of cosmic noise. Most of them turned out to be pulsars, dying stars, or occasionally a glitch in some underfunded satellite. But this one was different. It wasn't random. It repeated. Not in a simple loop, not like a beacon or distress call, but in patterns that evolved. It learned. Elias first noticed it at 3:12 station time, aboard the deep space research vessel Artemis 9, orbiting the cold blue dwarf designated RX 771. The system had been deemed scientifically dull, stable, quiet, unremarkable, until it wasn't. Run it again, Elias muttered, leaning closer to the holographic display. His assistant, Mira Solon, rubbed her eyes. That's the 6th time, Doctor. It's still the same. No, Elias said, voice tightening. It's not. The waveform shimmered in front of them, an intricate structure of peaks and troughs. At first glance, it resembled noise. But when slowed down and translated into a visual matrix, something uncanny emerged. Symmetry. And then deviation. It's adjusting, Mira said slowly. Like it's responding to something. Elias didn't answer immediately. His mind was racing. Send a ping, he said finally. Mira blinked. You mean reply? Yes. That's against protocol. Elias turned to her. So, is discovering the first non-random, non-natural signal in human history and doing nothing? She hesitated, then sighed. Fine. What do we send? Elias thought for a moment, then smiled faintly. Something simple, universal. He tapped a sequence into the console. Prime numbers. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. A mathematical handshake. The transmission shot into the void, aimed at the unknown source of the signal. Then they waited. Seconds passed. Minutes. Mira leaned back. If this is another dead end. The console beeped. Both of them froze. Incoming signal. Stronger this time. Clearer. And unmistakably different. It changed, Mira whispered. Elias leaned in, heart pounding. Translate it. The system struggled at first, algorithms clashing against something that didn't fit any known structure. But then, slowly, patterns aligned. Symbols formed. Language or something like it. Is that a reply? Mira asked. Elias nodded, eyes wide. It's not just a reply. It's an answer. The translation engine flickered, hesitated, and then displayed a single line of text. Elias read it aloud. You're late. Silence filled the lab. Mira stared at the screen. What does that mean? Elias didn't respond immediately. His mind was trying and failing to process the implications. We sent the first message, he said finally. We initiated contact. And it thinks we're late? Mira said. Another beep cut through the tension. A second message. This one came faster, more confident. The translation appeared almost instantly. I have been waiting. Elias felt a chill crawl up his spine. Waiting for who? Mira asked. The answer came before he could respond. A third message. For you, Elias Varon. The room seemed to shrink. Mira turned to him slowly. You didn't tell it your name, did you? Elias shook his head, his throat suddenly dry. No, that's not possible. The system had transmitted nothing but prime numbers. No identifiers. No metadata. Nothing. And yet, it knows you, Mira whispered. Elias stepped back from the console as if it might burn him. That's not just communication, he said. That's awareness. The console lit up again. Do not be afraid. Elias laughed, a short, sharp sound. That's not reassuring. Mira swallowed. What do we do? Elias stared at the messages, at the impossible intelligence behind them. Every instinct as a scientist told him to proceed carefully, to observe, to analyze. But another instinct, deeper and more primal, told him something else. This wasn't first contact. This was a response to something that had already begun. Ask it a question, he said. Mira hesitated. Like what? Elias took a deep breath. Ask what it is. Mira typed quickly, hands trembling. The message was sent. The reply came almost instantly. I am here. That's not an answer, Mira said. Elias leaned closer. It's avoiding the question. Another message appeared. You seek form. Elias frowned. Yes, we do. The next line appeared more slowly, as if considering. Then I will come to you. Myra's breath caught. Come to us? How? Elias didn't have time to answer, because at that exact moment, every light on the Artemis 9 flickered. The ship's systems went haywire. Alarms blared. Screens glitched. Gravity fluctuated for a split second, enough to make Elias stumble. Power surge. Mira shouted. No. Something's overriding the core. Elias grabbed the console. From where? Nowhere. It's internal, but it's not coming from any system we recognize. The air in the lab changed. It grew dense, charged. Elias felt the hairs on his arms stand on end. And then in the center of the room, space itself bent. Not dramatically, not violently, but subtly, like a ripple in water. Mira stepped back. Elias, tell me you're seeing that. I'm seeing it, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. The ripple intensified. Light curved around it, distorting the room. For a moment, Elias thought it might collapse into a singularity, but instead it stabilized. And then, something stepped through. It wasn't what Elias expected. There was no towering monstrosity, no incomprehensible mass of tentacles or shifting geometry. It looked human. Almost. A woman stood where the distortion had been. She was tall, slender, with pale skin that seemed to shimmer faintly, as if light couldn't quite settle on it. Her eyes were wrong, not in shape, but in depth. They were too deep, too aware, like looking into something that wasn't bound by time. She looked at Elias and smiled. Elias Varen, she said softly. Her voice was clear, perfectly articulated, and completely unfiltered by any translation system. Mira gasped. She's speaking English. Elias couldn't move, couldn't breathe, because he knew, with absolute certainty, that she had never learned it. Who are you? He managed to say. The woman tilted her head slightly, studying him. And then she spoke. Her first words, true words, not transmitted through signals or code, rang through the room. I am the echo of your future. The silence that followed was suffocating. Mira was the first to react. That's not possible. The woman's gaze shifted to her briefly. Your understanding of possibility is limited. Elias found his voice. What do you mean? Echo of our future? She looked back at him, her expression softening. It means, she said, that I am what remains when your kind learns to listen. Elias frowned. That doesn't explain how you know me, or how you got here. She stepped closer. He felt it immediately, a subtle pressure, like standing too close to a powerful magnetic field. I have always known you, she said, because you are part of the moment that creates me. Mira shook her head. That's paradoxical. The woman smiled faintly. Only if you believe time moves in one direction. Elias felt a cold realization creeping in. You've been waiting, he said slowly. For us. For you, she corrected gently. Why me? She studied him for a long moment. Because, she said, you are the first to answer. Elias blinked. Answer what? She gestured toward the console. The signal.
You sent it, he said.
Yes. But you said we were late. We were. Elias exhaled sharply. That makes no sense. She stepped even closer now, close enough that he could see faint patterns moving beneath her skin, like shifting constellations.
It will, she said.
In time. Mira crossed her arms. You're not exactly being helpful. The woman looked at her again, her expression unreadable. Understanding is not immediate. It unfolds. Elias ran a hand through his hair. Start simpler. What are you? She considered the question. Then she answered. I am what your species becomes when it survives long enough to stop fearing the unknown. The words hit harder than Elias expected. Survives what? He asked. Her gaze flickered, just for a moment. Yourselves. The room went still. Mira swallowed. You're saying we destroy ourselves? I am saying, the woman replied, that you come close. Elias felt a knot tighten in his chest. And you're here to what? Warn us. She smiled again, but there was something sad in it.
No, she said.
I am here because you already listened. Elias stared at her. That doesn't make sense. It will. He clenched his fists. Stop saying that. The sudden edge in his voice surprised even him. But she didn't react with anger. Only patience. Elias, she said softly, you are experiencing this linearly. I am not. He took a shaky breath. Then help me understand. She nodded. And for the first time, her expression became something almost human.
Very well, she said.
She raised her hand. The air shimmered again, but this time, it wasn't a distortion. It was a projection. Images filled the room, not on screens. In space itself. Elias saw Earth, then cities, then chaos. Not destruction, not entirely, but conflict, division. Moments where humanity stood on the edge of collapse. And then, something else.
A shift.
A turning point. Elias saw signals like the one they had received, spreading across networks, across minds. People listening, understanding,
changing.
What is this? Mira whispered. The moment you begin to evolve, the woman said. Elias watched as the images accelerated. Humanity expanding beyond Earth, beyond their system, becoming something more, not abandoning their nature, but refining it, learning, adapting. And that's you? Elias asked. She nodded. An echo, she said. A remnant. A guide. Elias stared at the vision, then back at her. You're saying we become you? Yes. And you came back to start it? She shook her head. No, she said. Her voice softened. I came back because you already did. Elias felt his mind buckle under the weight of it. This is a loop, he said slowly. Yes. We send the signal because you sent the signal. Yes. And you exist because we become you. Yes. Mira let out a shaky laugh. That's insane. It is, the woman agreed. And it is also true. Elias looked at her, really looked at her, at the strange familiarity in her features, at the way her presence felt, not alien, but distant, like a memory he couldn't quite grasp. Why me? He asked again, quieter this time. She stepped forward, closing the last bit of distance between them. Because, she said, you are the one who chooses to answer. Elias frowned. Anyone could have. No, she said gently. Not anyone. She reached out, hesitated for just a fraction of a second, and then placed her hand lightly against his. Her touch was warm, real, and in that moment, something shifted inside him. A sense of clarity, of connection, of understanding. You're not just humanity's future, he said. She smiled. No, she said softly. I am yours. The realization hit him like a shockwave. You're connected to me? Yes.
How?
She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped back slightly, her gaze holding his. In your future, she said, you help create the bridge that allows us to exist. Elias felt his heart race. And you? I am one of the first to cross it. Mira stared between them. So what? This is destiny. The woman shook her head.
No, she said.
This is choice. Elias swallowed. And if I choose not to answer the signal? She held his gaze. For the first time, there was something like uncertainty in her eyes. Then, she said quietly, I cease to exist. The weight of that hung in the air. Elias looked at the console, at the signal that had started it all, at the future that depended on a single decision. He thought about the risks, the unknowns, the possibility of failure. And then he thought about the vision she had shown him, about what humanity could become. He took a deep breath and turned back to her. I already answered, he said. She smiled. Yes, she said. You did. Ending. The distortion returned moments later. Not violent, not abrupt, just a gentle folding of space, as if reality itself was breathing. She stepped toward it, then paused. Will I see you again? Elias asked. She looked back at him, her expression warm. In every moment that matters, she said. And then she was gone. The room returned to normal. The system stabilized. The signal faded. But Elias knew, deep down, that nothing was the same. Because somewhere, in a future yet to be written, she was waiting. And he had already begun.